Hi guys, charity shop gold or garbage. Went out to Chipping Sodbury today. Spotted this in one of the charity shops. Priced at £2.50. And it's one of those 2.4 gigahertz models that seem to be coming out now. So, first impression, gold or garbage? It's garbage. Why is it garbage? Because we don't have a transmitter with it, a controller, a remote. And without that, it's no good to anybody. I mean, yeah, you can push it along a little bit or put it on a shelf and look at it, but you're not going to be able to drive it. And the modern toy grade 2.4 gigahertz is as bad as the old infrared controls. They're not compatible with each other. They're not standard. Who's it made by? Can we read that? Product under license of Lamborghini Aventador LP700 Jianfengyuan Toys Co Ltd. Made in China. That looks like 2017 July on that label there. And as I say, 2.4 gigahertz. I've put fresh batteries in it, and it does make a noise, which is it waiting to bind, I think. And I've tried it with my Maisto Extreme controllers, just in case, because they're 2.4 gigahertz. And I've tried my normal FlySky controllers, because they're proper hobby grade 2.4 gigahertz. And I've tried this one, which I can't remember whose it is. Super RC System AX5S, 2.4 gigahertz. And it doesn't bind with that one either. So, like I was saying, garbage really. Was that one 2.4 gigahertz as well? I can't remember. I think it was. Yeah, that one was 2.4 as well. That's the one I changed the receiver out for a proper hobby grade one and put a 3S LiPo in it. So, what are we going to do with this one? I guess I can just take it apart so we can have a look inside, but we're not going to see it running unless I can find a suitable transmitter. I've seen some in the shops that look like this. I can't remember which shop it was. It might even have been Lidl. Don't know. But, as I say, without a proper controller, looks pretty, but waste of time, waste of money. Oh, I didn't pay £2.50 for it, because I pointed out that it was useless without the controller, and I said, oh, we put the batteries in it and it made noises. I said, well, yeah, that's the noise it makes, because that's waiting to bind. But it's not going to do anything. It's not going to run forwards and backwards and turn corners, which is what it's supposed to do. And they said, well, how about £1? So for £1, might as well have it. We'll do a teardown. Have a look inside. Hi guys. We're going to take this one apart. Picked it up in a charity shop. It actually cost me £1 not the £2.50 that's on the label there. I don't know where it came from originally. I've seen cars like this in various shops. I think I saw them in Lidl or Aldi and various other places. This one says Jianfengyuan Toys Co Ltd. Product under license Lamborghini Aventador LP700-4. And that label looks like July 2017 to me. It's 2.4 GHz. It didn't have a controller or transmitter with it, so basically it's useless. None of my 2.4 GHz transmitters match with it. So we'll take it apart and have a look inside. It's got batteries in it at the moment, but they're not going to be any good. If I turn it on, you can hear it wants to bind with something. So we'll have a look inside. Looks like that screwdriver will fit. It's a bit of a tight fit. I might have to change screwdrivers, that one's a bit big. Right, a little bit smaller. See. Some of them aren't loose. Maybe there's some under the batteries. No, no screws hidden under the battery compartment. Just needed to be a bit more robust with it. Okay, which way is this going to go? So, in the top, you've got LEDs, front lights, back lights. So that's what those wires do. And it looks like that might unplug if we're lucky. Yeah, okay. That's nice, we can separate it. Okay, front end, just ordinary toy grade steering. In other words, a single ordinary electric motor, 2 wires go into it, so there's no proportional steering. That's our receiver board, battery compartment, on-off switch. That looks like a thermal fuse just there. That's straight on the positive battery feed. And then back end, that's the size of the motor. Looks like we might be able to get the gearbox out, or I don't know. Depends how the wheels come off, doesn't it? Got a bit of suspension here. Well, we'll see if we can get this out. So that's a little bit of suspension. Looks like we can open up some panels here, but I still don't see how we can get that out. That's not going to come out unless we can get the wheel off. That beeping noise in the background is my tea is ready. Wondering if the centre comes out of the wheels and there might be a screw underneath. That might be what it is. That does look like it's moving a bit, although I'm making a mess of it. I'm not too worried about that. Come out. I can't believe the wheels just pull off. Making a mess of it. No. Well, we just have to take the cover off the gearbox anyway and have a look inside. Right, sounds like my tea is ready, so we're going to have to stop this. I don't reckon we're going to get this apart without getting the wheels off. Yes, that needs to come apart. Can we see that? Light. The seam goes right the way across here and through into there. So unless we can get this silver bit off that way and the same on that side, we can't lift the gearbox cover. And I don't think we can get them off without getting the wheels off. I'll stop for my tea and we'll have a look again in a minute. Well, I'm going to give up on that gearbox. There's no way I can get these silver bits off either side without breaking anything. The wheels are not going to come off the shafts easily. They're not screwed on or anything. They must be press fit onto some sort of ribbing on the end of the axles. So they're not coming off easily. And without getting them off, I can't slide the silver bit off, and without sliding that off, we can't get the green gearbox casing apart. So we're on a bit of a loser there. So we'll give up on that. We'll have a look at the receiver. I'll undo it just to see if there's anything on the other side. But I'll do a close-up of these two chips, see what they are. And I'll unscrew this. That's the aerial, that tiny little bit of white wire there. I think the camera will pick that up. We can see the RL for right and left, and the F and B for forwards, backwards, and then GND for ground, and behind those red and green wires is VCC for the battery going in. Well, that's all we've got on the other side of the receiver board. Crystal, a big resistor, and then a couple of capacitors and a serial number. So nothing to see there really. Down there, that's the plug that the LEDs plug into for the lights. Just before we leave the back end and the gearbox, I'll just say that one more time. We can't get this gearbox apart. There's a seam that goes all the way around, which is where it would split apart, but that goes right out to this wheel or hub assembly, and if you can't slide that silver bit off, push it out that way so it comes off the green bit, then we can't split the green bit. And the only way you can slide that off is to get the wheels off. And the wheels don't unscrew, they're actually press fit over some sort of ribbing on the end of the axles. So short of actually damaging them to try and force them off, we're not going to get them off. So this toy is not designed to be worked on. There's no easy way of replacing that motor if the motor goes faulty without actually splitting the gearbox. And you can't split the gearbox without getting the wheels off. And you can't get the wheels off without breaking them. So a bit of a one-way ticket there. So I've given up on the gearbox. We're not going to get it apart without breaking it. So we'll have a look at the steering. We should be able to see that, I think. It's got suspension on it, it's trying to spring apart on me. So, springing up. So that's our suspension. Okay, let's have a look at this. Sorry about getting in the way of the light. So that's going to lift off. Yes. Okay, so holding that together, you can see we've got a good few gears in there. We will have a peek at it, but I don't think there's anything really exciting there. There'll be the motor, step down gearing, and then we've got that cam that goes side to side like that, and that's what pushes that side to side for the steering. You can lift that off with a bit of luck. Okay, so that's the actual steering rod. Oh. Yeah, it's that way up. So that does your steering. And then that's your centering adjustment. there, and your centering spring. That bit there is the bit that goes down into there. Can you demonstrate that? There we go. So that pulls it back to the middle. And then that piece there, the adjuster, can we turn that? Yes, we can. So that adjusts where the center position is. It doesn't help you steer any more left or right, it's the center position that it's adjusting. Right, I'll lift that one off. So that's the bit you couldn't really see. So that's your steering arm rod. So try and get that back in. Onto there. So that's in position. That's back. Right, so they're in position. Now we can have a look at this fella. Oh, it's all fallen out anyway. One thing about it, it looks like every single screw, apart from two of them, are all the same size, which makes life a lot easier. Yeah, they're all the same size. The only two that were a different size were the two on top of there. Right, now for some fun. Let's see if we get this apart without it all falling apart. Oh, easy. Better zoom in a bit, I suppose. So that's our steering gearbox. That white piece there, which might come out if we're lucky. Yep. That's sort of a clutch mechanism. Oh. Right, as this spins round, those two pads, are they in focus? Alright, let's do that again. Yes, as the motor spins round, these two pads push outwards onto the inside of that circle, or that dish. Yeah, it's like old-fashioned brakes. Before we started using disc brakes, we had brakes that pushed out on the inside of the brake drum. So yeah, that that's probably the best description. It's like an old-fashioned drum brakes, only it's sort of working in reverse. So they spin out, they grip the inside of that, and then that turns. And then that one turning turns that. So small to big, small to big, small to big, and then that's the bit that actually does the steering. See it coming round slowly, which gives you an idea of how low geared it is to give it some power. And that arm there is the one that pushes in that slot there, pushes the steering side to side. Right, well, we can put that back together. So nothing clever there, as in there's no proportional steering. It's just ordinary toy grade. Well, the whole thing is toy grade, apart from the fact it's using 2.4 gigahertz controller. So I get the impression some people think that because it's 2.4 gigahertz, that means it's hobby grade. But no, it's still toy grade, it's just using 2.4 gigahertz. I guess the advantage of 2.4 gigahertz digital is it's not going to be interfering with the next car on the grid. So you can have several 2.4 gigahertz cars racing each other without worrying about their frequencies colliding, which is the problem with 2.27 megahertz and 40 megahertz. So that's back together. Zoom out again before we forget. So I'll put this back in. Oh, what fell out there? Don't want to lose that. Set that back on there. Can we pick that up magnetically? Yes. And that one. Swap my head over. We'll use this one. Then we can use the magnet to hold things in place. Okay. Let's get the wheels back in place. Probably need to get fingers in there, and that's going to be in the way of what you can see then. Sorry about that. That one over there. Come on. That one over there. That one in there. So that's in place. Interesting to see the way these have got worn. It's obviously been used, this car. Okay, springs back on. And then try to get this on the right way round. That way round. Get those screws out. Yeah. Right, so those I'm doing this the right way round. Yes, I am. That's it, yeah. Wheels are in place. Now put the screws back in. So, back together apart from putting the cover back on. And it's just occurred to me we could do something useful with this toy before we put it all back together. Need to plug that back into there for the lighting. But can we do anything useful with this? Yeah. I'll show you. There we go. Lamborghini Aventador, or Maisto Extreme Beast becomes Lamborghini Aventador. Yeah, okay. Lamborghini Aventador Maisto Extreme Beast. Probably the most useful thing I can do with that body shell at the moment, because without replacing the receiver on the chassis, it's not going to work for me. Job done.
Hey, thanks for watching. There's plenty of videos on my main channel with more added daily, so don't forget to subscribe and enable the notifications to keep you up to date with my new releases. You can help keep my channel running by donating $1 on Patreon to buy me coffee. You can always find more information in the video description. Thanks again for watching.